Welcome to a safe space with Dr. Lillie. Our topic today is about trauma, grief, and loss. I specialize in trauma, grief, and loss. I am your wellness practitioner and your trauma coach. Hit that like button as you are coming in. Bless me today with your presence and hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I am trying to build my channel and I need your support. You are a big deal. You are the one that will help me grow my channel. Hit that like button for me, please. We're going to get started in just a moment. Go to my description. In my description, it tells you everything about me, what I specialize in, what I'm certified in. And my website link is in the description as well. Click on it. Pay my website a visit. Learn about the different services that I have and who is Dr. Lillie, okay? So we're going to begin started. What's the subject matter today? Trauma, grief, and loss. Breaking away from trauma. Different, I'm going to give you some different Bible verses from Psalms that will help you with your trauma. How to use the Bible verses. And how trauma affects the body, grief affects the body, and loss, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get started. How y'all doing today? I hope you're doing very well. Breaking away from trauma is incredibly difficult because it changes how the brain functions, shifting you into a constant state of survival. It alters your neurobiology by keeping the fear center hyperactive while disrupting the rational brain, making it nearly impossible to simply get over the experience. I would never tell someone to get over it, but when it's stated in here, it's not saying to get over, like somebody be like, just get over. Why can't you get over? No, it's actually saying so you can get past the pain and go into your healing or your future of being empowered. If trauma involves a bond with an abuser, the cycle of cruelty followed by affection creates intermediate reinforcement. This releases dopamine and adrenaline, creating a chemical dependency and addiction to your abuser. To go back to my book, The Purple Cinderella, I'm going to read something from the back because I became addicted to my abusers. One moment, please. They all stole a part of Cinderella's glass slipper. I became used to this childhood torture. I accepted the torture. I even fell in love with the torture. That is from my autobiography. I'm going to read to you again what it says. If trauma involves a bond with an abuser, the cycle of cruelty followed by affection creates intermediate reinforcement. This releases dopamine and adrenaline, creating a chemical dependency, in addiction to the abuser. You can become addicted to your abuser. A lot of times, Stockholm syndrome. Hit that like button for me. Hello, Hottie. How you doing? Hello, 9859. Thank y'all for coming to my live. The live is about trauma, grief, and loss. Share this with someone. You may know someone that may be experiencing trauma, grief, and loss. It can be a blessing to you, and you can bless someone else. So I'm going to give you a couple Bible verses, key songs for trauma, grief, and loss, healing, and comfort. The following scriptures are frequently turned to for encouragement and resilience. Psalms 34:18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. Psalms 23:1, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod, your staff, they comfort me. Psalms 91:4, he will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Psalms 147:3, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalms 46:1, God is our refuge and strength, even in ever-present help in trouble. How to use these Bible verses. Many people find it helpful to meditate on these words and write them down from Psalms, the Bible verses. The layman Psalms specifically create a space to honestly express pain and feelings of being overwhelmed, which can be a key part of processing traumatic events. Hello, Reverend. Nice to have you back. Healing for trauma is highly individual, non-linear process that focuses on managing symptoms, regaining a sense of safety. This is a safe space with Dr. Lillie. I am here to keep you safe. And processing painful memories. While you cannot change the past, trauma, you can't change your past. Evidence-based therapy, self-regulation, techniques, and constant self-care can help you move forward. Self-care is imperative. We talked about that last week. Trauma often leaves the nervous system stuck in fight or flight mode. We're going to relate back to the 4 F's of trauma response chart. Fight or flight mode. Grounding yourself in present moment helps calm your mind and body. I am here to calm your mind and body and educate you about trauma, grief, and loss. Trauma, grief, and loss are just not emotional experiences. They trigger profound physical responses throughout your entire body. The brain interprets intense loss as a survival threat, which activates the fight or flight mechanism and causes a flood of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Take a listen to this about trauma. This is an audio. Take a listen.
His name is Gabor Mate.
Hold on, that's a
What he
commercial. Just a
discovered
moment,
is that the
okay?
body holds
Hit that
everything
like
the
button
mind
for
tries
me. This is from Psych Hub. What is trauma?
About 70% of people around the world will experience at least one traumatic event in their lifetime. Trauma is a threatening event
educational purposes.
that is emotionally or physically harmful, which may include violence, abuse, neglect, natural disasters, or losing a loved one due to a traumatic event. Trauma can be experienced directly or indirectly by a person, such as directly by working as a police officer, or indirectly, such as working as a therapist and hearing about the traumatic experiences of others. Major factors that contribute to an individual's response to trauma include culture, one's values, beliefs, and a way of seeing the world, social support system, if they have people in their lives who are truly supportive or not, and one's developmental stage, or where they are in their lifespan. For example, being a teenager or an adult. Some common reactions to trauma can include feelings of fear, anxiety, humiliation, guilt, shame, or betrayal.
Those feelings of fear, guilt, and shame can shape your life. That's why it is important to book a session and talk to someone that can help you through your trauma, okay? One moment.
Ask questions such as, why me? How other people respond to a person's trauma can also impact how a person experiences their trauma. For example, some people may not feel heard or understood by others, or others may downplay the importance, severity, and seriousness of their experience. This can be very hurtful and invalidating. A person can also develop more severe signs and symptoms of a trauma-related disorder, such as post-traumatic stress disorder or acute stress disorder.
Hello, how you doing?
Some signs of a trauma-related disorder can include frequently feeling nervous, physical symptoms like stomach upset, upsetting thoughts, hypervigilance, which is constantly feeling on edge, and if one is in danger, so one needs to be constantly on alert for threats. These symptoms can worsen with thoughts and reminders of the traumatic event. Therefore, people may try to avoid anything that reminds them of the event, but those symptoms can also be triggered for no external reason at all. Trauma in childhood can have long-lasting effects. In the CDC Kaiser ACE study, early childhood trauma showed a long-term and a negative impact on physical health and the likelihood of
Early childhood trauma. I experienced so much trauma as a kid. This is my book, The Purple Cinderella, Surviving Multiple Childhood, RAPISTS, about my childhood trauma. Childhood trauma can affect your entire life, but you have a choice to allow it to win or you win. I want you to win. Defeat trauma.
developing mental health and substance use disorders, and at a higher risk of suicide. This study also showed that trauma can impact future job and education performance. Some specific factors that can help with trauma recovery include social support that focuses on forming strong emotional bonds and a sense of belonging and connectedness to others, therapy and other specialized treatment services that focus on trauma-related disorders, trauma-informed organizations, for example, schools and workplaces, ensuring access to basic needs and resources, such as food, education, healthcare, and housing. If you or a loved one may be experiencing symptoms of trauma-related disorder, treatment can help. Please contact a licensed behavioral health provider.
That was about what is trauma. It talked about getting out and socializing with people. Don't be isolated with trauma, because all that makes you do is makes more anxiety and depression dealing with trauma. Um, it talks about what a person is going through with their trauma. And it teaches you about getting help for your trauma in this particular audio. One moment, okay? Trauma is a disruption to the body, mind's capacity to adapt, thrive, and flourish. I am here to help you adapt, thrive, and flourish. Remember that. As your trauma coach, your wellness practitioner, I am here to help you adapt, thrive, and flourish. The thing with trauma, once it's over, your body continues to relive it because your body stores it as a memory, and you can continue reliving that trauma, but you don't want to live in your trauma. You want to get past it and live in your future, okay? Where there's empowerment and happiness and joy. Take a listen to this, okay? Trauma disruption to the mind and body. Listen to this audio. Hello. Hold on.
Or your primary care doctor.
Our minds may grasp the truth, yet our hearts refuse. When we lose our loved one, our minds may grasp the truth.
Have you ever wondered how trauma affects not just the mind but also the body? When we experience trauma, it's not only psychological, it becomes cellular. The autonomic nervous system, responsible for the fight or flight response, reacts to trauma by storing stress in the body. This happens because intense emotions cause the body to release hormones like cortisol, leading to tension and inflammation. Over time, these stress-induced changes can manifest as physical symptoms, chronic pain, fatigue, or even digestive issues. By understanding this connection, practitioners can target treatments like somatic therapy, which helps release these held emotions, offering relief. Recognizing how trauma interlinks mind and body opens pathways to comprehensive healing, bridging psychological insights with physical health. Subscribe to learn more. Have you ever wondered how...
So that was about trauma disruption, the mind and body. So we're going to now talk about grief. We just went over trauma. We're going to talk about grief now. Okay, is that okay with you all? X888E says she's musty and pretty. I'm not musty, baby, but I am pretty. I'm beautiful. I'm more than pretty. I'm beautiful, baby. I'm naturally beautiful. Thank you. Tin Can One says, I'm scared. Don't be scared. Send me a message if you need to discuss some things, okay? Take advantage of the free 15-minute sessions, okay? Hottie says, hi, Hottie. How you doing, Queen? Let's continue. This part of the live is about grief. I'm going to let you listen to some audio just a moment.
Trauma affects not just...
Hold on.
But grief absolutely affects your body in terms of the stress. You also, a lot of people have trouble eating. They either do one extreme. Usually people either have no appetite and they don't eat anything, or you may go the other extreme and you find that you're eating everything in sight. So you want to be mindful either way to try to find a balanced approach to that. There also are, and these are some of the ones that nobody told me about, sharp pains. You may experience sharp pains in your heart or in your lungs. These are kind of linked to the heavy emotion of it or anxiety that comes from it. And the good news to all of that is, if you take good care of yourself and if you apply yourself to the work of recovery and the work of mourning and moving, processing through the grief, then a lot of these things should subside and will be resolved just on their. But grief absolutely affects your body in terms of the.
Yes, taking good care of yourself. Part of that is self-care, and part of self-care is actually sitting down and talking to someone about what you're experiencing with your grief. So she talks about how it affects the body, how grief affects the body. Dry eyes. This is some of the things that grief causes, how grief affects the body. Dry eyes, acne flare up, chronic cough, difficulty breathing, overeating, lack of energy, brain fog, headache, fatigue, tightness in your chest or throat, hollow feeling in stomach, muscle aches. Grief can cause all of that. We talked about trauma first, now we're discussing grief. 5 stages of grief. Take a listen to this to learn about the 5 stages of grief. These are imperative things that you need to know because it will help you with your healing, okay?
Stress, you also.
Going through tough times like grief is never easy, but understanding the stages of grief might help you make sense of it all. First, there's denial. It's like your mind saying, no, this can't be happening, as the situation might feel unreal or too painful. Next is anger. This is where frustration kicks in, and you might find yourself asking, why me? It's totally okay to feel this way, and it's a natural part of the process. After that comes bargaining. This is when you start making deals with yourself or a higher power. It's a way of trying to regain control, even if it's not really possible. Then comes depression. This is a tough stage, but it's also a sign that you're processing things. Finally, there's acceptance. This is when you start to find a way to move forward. It doesn't mean you're over it, but you're finding a new normal. Remember, grief takes time, and everyone goes through these stages differently. Going through tough times like grief is never.
That was the 5 stages of grief. I'm going to read something to y'all from my book, a poem that I wrote in my book, The Purple Cinderella, Surviving Multiple Childhood, RAPISTS. I'm going to read a poem that I wrote, and it is relating to the subject matter. This particular poem I wrote the name is Bandages. Have you ever bought a box of bandages and ran out? Well, for many years since my childhood, I kept putting bandages over my old wounds. I never dealt with the hurt. I was always too busy or being a good parent to deal with it. So I continued to put bandages over my old wounds. The hurt had gotten worse. At the beautiful age of 38, I ran out of bandages. I went to every store looking for new bandages to buy, but every store was out of them. I was at the point of panic, attack. Death and the devil started playing with my mind. I fell to my knees and I started crying, asking God to heal my aching wounds. There's no more stores to buy bandages. Jesus Christ said, come to me, all you are weary and heavy burden. I will give you rest. Now I live. That is a poem written by me called Bandages. We'll just listen to audio about the 5 stages of grief. Grief and loss aren't punishment. They are a chance to grow, to heal and become your strongest, more compassionate version of yourself. Your story isn't over, it is evolving. So take a listen to this audio about grief and loss, okay?
Easy, but understanding
Just
the
a
stages
moment.
of grief.
When we lose our loved one, our minds may grasp the truth, yet our hearts refuse to accept it. Though it is a painful reality, the only way to cease our suffering is to confront it wholeheartedly. Death is a chapter woven into the story of every life. When we lose our loved one,
Losing a loved one is your grief. Losing a loved one is your loss, which you grieve. And grieving is okay. But you must sit and talk with someone while you're grieving to help you get to the next level that you need to be in, living in joy. Grief and loss aren't punishment. They are a chance to grow, to heal, and become the strongest, compassionate version of yourself. Your story isn't over, it is evolving. Losses generally fall in 6 main categories. Take a listen to the 6 main categories. Primary, the actual events such as a DEATH. Secondary, ripple effects like financial shifts. Ambiguous, physical, but psychologically absent or present versa. And anti-participatory, explain changes. Cumulative, multiple losses at once. And disenfranchised, societally unrecognized grief. I talked about this before. Disenfranchised grief, someone have a miscarriage. Someone have a loved one that have moved away and they're missing them. They are grieving them. That is a loss to them. Sudden loss is inherently traumatic because it deprives the brain of preparation time. This leaves an individual navigating both the profound absence of a loved one and the severe shock of the event itself. Consequently, the brain survival system triggers, which can cause intense symptoms like flashbacks, chronic anxiety, and intrusive memories. The 7 distinct types of grief describes the diverse ways people process loss. They include normal grief, anti-compensatory grief, experiencing grief before impending loss. That particular grief is when someone is in a hospital and they haven't passed yet, but they're on the verge of going to glory land, and you're at the hospital for days after with them. That's what type of loss you're experiencing, impending loss. It could be taking a toll on you. Complicated grief, intense, prolonged reactions, and disenfranchised grief, loss not socially recognized. It is also included delayed, cumulative, and traumatic grief. Healing from traumatic grief is fundamentally different from anticipated loss because the trauma frequently needs to be addressed before the natural grieving process can progress. Understanding the intersection of these intense emotions is vital to managing the experience. But when something is minimized, it rarely gets the space it needs. And what is not acknowledged does not get processed. Let's say we're having a session. And as I stated before, like a couple weeks ago, we're talking and you're talking about everything. But me as a coach, a wellness practitioner, I have to sit and really listen because sometimes what is actually that has traumatized you or your grief or loss, you're not talking about it. But in so many ways, because I'm sitting and listening, you're talking about everything else, but what is actually your grief and loss and trauma? It is my job to help you find out what exactly is happening that is causing you the experience with your grief and loss and trauma. That is managing the experience. It is vital that you do that. And to help you process it, you got to acknowledge it. If you don't acknowledge it, it is my job to sit and help you figure out what exactly that you are not acknowledging. I am here to help you process your grief. Book a session with me. I am your listening ear, your wellness practitioner. While someone is your trigger, I am your safe space. I am your listening ear. Take advantage of the free 15-minute sessions. They will end this coming Friday. Grief and loss. Acknowledge the loss. Create space for your feelings. Understand that grief is a lifelong journey. Know that there can be joy in the life post loss. You lose a loved one. Your loved one will want you to be happy. Don't feel guilty about going on with your life and to your stage of empowerment after the loss. There's joy after loss. I'm going to play something for you, and I hope this touch you in a powerful, mighty way. One moment, please.
Minds may.
God is healing someone's heart watching this right now. And that someone is you. Say this out loud. God is healing every broken place in my heart. I'm not defined by what hurt me. I'm defined by what God is doing in me right now. The pain I've carried, God is lifting it off my shoulders. Every disappointment is becoming a divine appointment.
Yes.
What was meant to break me, God is using to build me. I am not my trauma. I am not my past. I am healed. I am whole. I am loved. My heart is being restored right now. I feel peace replacing pain. I feel joy replacing sorrow. God is doing a new thing in my heart, and I receive it fully. The walls I built to protect myself, God is gently taking them down. I don't have to guard my heart alone anymore. God is my protector. God is my healer. God is my peace. Every cracked place in my heart is being filled with light. I forgive what I couldn't forgive before, and I'm free. The weight I've been carrying was never mine to hold. I release it. I let it go. I step into healing. My heart is not broken. My heart is under construction, and the one doing the work is the one who made me. I am not who I was yesterday. I am not who the world said I'd become. I am who God says I am, right now. Stay in peace. Stay in faith. Stay covered. Take a moment.
Stay in peace. Stay in faith. Stay covered. Release yourself from all of that guilt and shame from your trauma, grief, and loss. You do not have to live in your trauma. Release yourself from it. If you feel you need help releasing it, book a session with me. If you feel you need longer than the 15-minute free sessions, book longer with me. Message me. My website link is in the description, okay? I want to play something else. Just a moment. How y'all doing today? Hello, El Janeiro. Hello. Thank you for coming to my live. Just a moment. Just a moment, everybody. Listen to this.
I hope you meet the reason why God didn't let you settle. You find out that he was actually preparing someone who was going to love you so much that it would make you forget what love never was. That he was actually preparing you to receive a love that wasn't going to be hurt by your trauma. That someone was going to love you so much and so deeply, you actually thought maybe 1 Corinthians 13 was real. That it was God being reflected from this person, loving you patiently, kindly, and most importantly, never ending. So yeah, I hope you run into that love. And I hope when you run into it, you love it like you've never been hurt before. Like you've never experienced trauma or pain before. Not because you're silly or stupid, but because you're ready, patient, and prepared.
Powerful message. Powerful. Powerful, powerful. From Peace of These. I hope you have enjoyed my live. I pray that you take portions of my live with you when you leave. I hope that it was educational to you. And also, I hope that the Bible verses that I gave you from Psalms was helpful to you as well. I want you to jot these down if it was helpful to you. Psalms 34:18. Psalms 34:18. Psalms 23:1. Psalms 91:4. Psalms 147:3. Psalms 46:1. Key Psalms for trauma, grief, and loss healing. Again, healing is tangible. God's love is tangible. God loves you. I love you. I look forward to seeing you all Wednesday. Have a good night. God bless. Bye.